So a very good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to a bitterly cold morning on the East Yorkshire coast. This morning's video, it's all about the holy trinity of micro four thirds lenses. Let's start off at the long end and take a photograph along these cliffs. So it's currently a little over freezing, and by that I mean it is absolutely freezing, but that's okay. We're getting some clear skies, which hopefully is going to lead to a little bit of light on the horizon very shortly. But I thought I'd start off with the long end side of things. So we're using the 40-150 f2.8 Pro. It's a fantastic telephoto zoom lens. It allows you to just get a little bit closer to your subjects, compress the background, and with that nice fast aperture, you can do some sort of entry-level wildlife photography. But that's not what we're going for this morning. There's a photograph along the cliffs that's taken my eye. So high tide is upon us and the cliffs are getting smashed by the tide, which is kicking up a little bit of spray, which is kind of looking a little bit like a little bit of fog and a little bit of like mist kind of stuff. I thought we'd throw the long lens on, zoom right in. We're 100mm. Hopefully we'll get a nice photograph. So let's look at some camera settings and get this one taken. So this is what we're going for this morning. We've just got the cliffs coming across and I'm taking pictures as I'm talking. But we've got the cliffs coming across and you can see where all of the water is just hitting the cliffs and it's creating like a spray, which, as I say, just looks like a little bit of a mist rolling along the cliffs. But there's an area around here you can see possibly where the waves are just getting they're getting thrown up. There must be something in the sand down there that's just kicking these waves up. So we're going to try and time it. Let's have a look. Oh, there's one. A 20th of a second, f5.6 and ISO 800, but I think we'll drop the ISO down a little bit now. Let's go down to 400. There we go. So there we go, just an example photograph taken with the long end of this holy trinity of micro four thirds lenses. It's a fantastic lens, it's nice and sharp, and for the size of it, it doesn't weigh all that much either, which is one of the attractions and the draws to these. Ooh, look at the light over there. One of the attractions and draws to these micro four thirds things. Yes, it's a little bit larger than the other one, the 40-150, the little plastic variable aperture thing, but for the size of it, it doesn't weigh that much, and it's a cracking lens, and it's just a nice introduction to telephoto lenses if you want to go down the pro route with these micro four thirds lenses. So before we go down onto the beach, I'm going to take the long lens off because I think that's going to be too much down on the beach. We might find something a little bit later, but for now, I think we're going to throw the middle of these three lenses on the middle of the holy trinity, the 12-40 f2.8 Pro. The all-rounder. Let's get down onto the beach and see what we can do with this one. Okay, so I've made it onto the beach and wow, there are some waves this morning. This is going to be a bit of a challenge. I didn't expect quite so much in the way of turbulence in the water, but it may make for some fun photographs wow. I'm not going to get too close to the water today. There's some big waves. Let's get a camera out, start taking photographs of them. So typically when I come to the coast, I've been doing long exposures, but the way the waves are crashing against these rocks, I think we're going to try and get something a little bit more static. So I've set something up with this rock wall just leading down the middle of the camera, and it's a case of just waiting for a big wave to smash against and splash over the end of it. Now, hopefully I'm not going to be waiting too long here. I'm hoping you can kind of see the effect that I'm going for. You'll see it in the bottom corner of the frame. You see where this wave is rolling up and it's about to smash and spray and not do an awful lot. And that's the kind of look I'm going for, so give me a few minutes and hopefully I'll have quite a nice photograph to show you. So what is it then about this Olympus 12-40 f2.8 that I like so much? Well, it's just a versatile all-round kind of lens, isn't it? It's a sort of standard zoom lens. Goes from that wide enough focal length to a sort of short telephoto, but it's a lens that you can throw on your camera and walk around with all day, and you'll get just about any shot that you like. And again, we have that nice fast f2.8 aperture. That's a big wave. Hopefully that's going to smash and crash. It did not. But it's got that nice fast aperture, so you can walk around in all kinds of conditions and you're going to get shutter speeds that are fast enough to keep your subjects nice and sharp. And when you pair it with a camera like this OM System OM1 Mark II with its 8.5 stops of in-body stabilisation, it's a pairing that you really can't go wrong with. And the observant among you who saw my last video where I was complaining about the lens hood, well, I've got one. I dropped on the OM System. A slightly overpriced piece of plastic, but hopefully it's going to do its job and protect the front element of this lens. Sorry, I'm really cold. Anyway, I quite like this lens. It tends to be the one that is always on my camera. Here's a big one. Here's a big one. Here's a splash. Alright, so do you know when I was at the car and I said I might not get anything with the long lens? I've just seen something and I'm going to try and get it with the long lens. There is a little beacon out in the North Sea that is currently getting absolutely annihilated by the waves, and where I'm standing I might be able to single that out and just get it as the waves are just crashing around it, so you've got a load of water and wave action with just this static beacon. Sorry, I'm keeping an eye on the waves as well. I've kind of realised where I'm standing I might be in the firing zone a little bit, but let's get this lens on. So this is what I'm kind of talking about. You see in the middle of the screen that black line, that is like a light beacon. There is a bit of a rock wall actually attached to that, but you can't see it because it's so far under the water right now. But I'm just going to try and finesse something where a big wave comes and washes around it, and we just have this beacon surrounded by all of this turbulent water. I don't know whether or not to throw some of the live NDs on and maybe just slow the water down, or just leave it nice and sharp as it's crashing. Let's just spend a couple of minutes just looking at it and see if I can figure this out. I'm kind of leaning towards not throwing the live ND on and just leaving the waves nice and static and just showing the turbulence. Let's just see, let's have a little play and just see what we can come up with. The lens right now is fully extended at 150mm, but kind of something like what's happening right now I'm kind of thinking in my mind's eye, so let's have a play and just see what we can do with it. So in the end I opted to not throw the live ND on. I thought just leaving the waves static as it was crashing around this post, I thought it made for a more powerful effect, just showing the turbulence and the strength of the water around it. Like I say at the start of the video, a nice telephoto zoom lens like this, you don't have to get nice and close to your subjects. You can stay in the relative safety of the beach in sort of my conditions right now, and you're not going to get wet. So just take that on board. Maybe sometimes a long lens is all you really need. So I have now thrown the wide angle of these three lenses on the 8-25 f4 Pro, which allows you to sort of exaggerate your subjects a little bit. Hang on, photo opportunity, let's try. And so again, as with the other two lenses that I've shown you so far this morning, this is one of OM Systems Pro Series lenses. It's nice and sharp, it's weather sealed, and it's going to give you all of that photography performance that you expect from a Pro Series camera lens. This morning's a bit of a funny one. There's no real cloud about, so I'm not entirely sure these photographs are going to look all that impressive. But I'm just hoping I can show you the sort of focal ranges that you're going to be able to cover with a trio of lenses like this. I'm still using the 8-25. I'm going to zoom all the way out to 8mm, which is a dirty full frame field of view of 16mm. There's a big rock in front of me with some grass around it, and it's just kind of catching the early morning light. I wonder if I might be able to do something with this without overexposing that sky completely. Let's say the sun's now up. There's some very harsh light in the corner of some of these images, but well, we'll work with it and we'll just see what we can achieve. I'm not going to go to the length of HDRing these. I don't feel like these are going to be worth it, but I think what we're going to do now is throw the long lens back on, spin around and just see if we can't catch something fun with some of the waves as they're getting lit up by the rising sun. So what I'm currently trying to take photographs of is, as some of the waves are breaking against the rising sun, they're leaving trails of spray, and it's just catching some of that golden hour light really, really nicely. I'm not going for long exposure photographs. In fact, I'm doing probably what is some of the fastest photography I've ever done at the coast. I'm currently sort of down at a 6/40th of a second, just to try and freeze that motion and catch some of that spray as it's coming off and catching the golden hour light. I'll show you a couple of photographs that I've taken so far. The biggest chore with this is actually tracking the waves as they're crossing. Obviously with the large focal length, I know this camera has the in-body stabilisation, but I'm still jittering around just a little bit, so it's a little bit of a pain in the backside to track the waves, but so far I think we've got some things that look really quite nice. So there we go, just a quick morning at the beach in some very changeable weather conditions. You can see it's a bright sunny day. The photos today were never going to be anything special, but I just wanted to introduce you to 3 Pro Series lenses that will have you covered for all eventualities. The 8-25 f4 Pro, a fantastic ultra-wide zoom lens. The 12-40 f2.8 Pro, the all-rounder, the one that is attached to my camera most of the time. And the 40-150 f2.8 Pro, the telephoto zoom lens that'll get you to places that you can't quite reach with your own boots. If you're looking to get into the Pro Series side of lenses, those are the 3 that I would start with, and those are the 3 that I would recommend to you. If you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and a thumbs up. It does help to bring new viewers to see my content, and if you're new here, you see me for the very first time, and you enjoy Micro Four Thirds photography, why not consider subscribing? It doesn't cost you anything, but it would mean the world to me. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to love you and leave you and just say peace and goodbye.